The song Criminal Wine, Lyrical and Patrice Roberts. It was released earlier this year for Carnival 2018. And the man behind that song and that video is with me, Mr. David Millian, the founder, producer, CEO of MillBeatz Entertainment and Caribbean Waves. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, I'm very fine.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you.
That was a big song for Carnival, you know.
Yeah, thanks a lot, thanks a lot.
Well, MillBeatz has launched a new genre of music called Caribbean Wave.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, Caribbean Wave is actually a new modern sound, right, as S-O-U-N-D. A new modern sound is a fusion of R&B, reggae music, even hip-hop blended with our soca drums here, our calypso drums, afro drums, and percussion. It was actually an experiment over the last 2 years. I've just been in studio just working because, you know, after Carnival, it just have that period where I found a lot of artists coming into studio and they wanted to do like R&B, they wanted to do reggae. And it clicked to me that, you know, I was wondering, I said, how come we don't have something to identify as our own, right? Any genre to identify as our own. So I eventually went into a studio and traveled a lot. You know, I went to LA, I went to New York, and what I realized is that the groovy soca was the soca that a lot of the engineers up there, they could have understood. So I said, you know what? It must have a way to blend our groovy soca with the R&B, the reggae, and all these things, and just give the artists, the local artists here, that opportunity to be heard throughout the year.
And we came up with
Caribbean Wave. That's how Caribbean Wave was born.
And how long ago did you do that?
This was actually an experiment, as I said, for 2 years, right? But it was initially started with Criminal Wine, which was last year, released in November. So, yeah, Caribbean Wave started in October, November. That's when we launched it with Criminal Wine, with Lyrical and Patrice Roberts.
Yeah, that's the one that we started to show it. Yeah, and it sounds interesting. And the idea was because you wanted to create something different.
Something different.
How have people been responding to it?
Well, I mean, it's been amazing so far. Like a lot of people with the Criminal Wine especially, you know, we got a lot of emails, messages. Everyone was like, yo, this song is different. You know, but I knew the experiment behind it, you know. And through the Caribbean Wave experiment, I decided, you know, I wanted to do more throughout the year with it. So I actually started an album with Caribbean Wave. 13 tracks this album would consist of. And from the album, it actually has a perfect blend of R&B. You could hear in it. You could hear reggae in the album. You could hear a little piece of hip-hop, but still incorporating all the soca and the percussion drums.
Yeah, because if you want to keep the identity, I know soca is part of who we are.
Of course,
and you can't not have an album produced in Trinidad without a little bit of soca as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, these songs, these tracks, who is it done by?
Well, these tracks, luckily, I found engineers. I actually had another producer from Toronto. His name is Vivid Songs. So he collaborated with me on a lot of the production, music production, right? And then on the engineering, the mixing engineering side, I had Johan Seaton from Madmen Productions, who helped with the mixing, as well as majority of the instrumentals was created by myself as well.
Yeah. I want to get into the role that music would play in society. I remember recently the president, Paula May Weeks, she did say that a lot of the content, the lyrics in songs are degrading to women especially, and that is a concern. Right. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's our responsibility in the sense of studio to identify and literally point out where we want to be in terms of the lyrics and the structure and the style of the releases. Right, I think it's freedom of expression. So music is expression. So we definitely, you know, we can't really say, well, we cannot sing this and we can't sing. If somebody, to me, my opinion, if someone feels strongly opinionated on something, they should be able to be allowed to express it.
Yeah. But so you may disagree to some extent then that the music is degrading, or is it that it comes back to people's belief?
I think it comes back to people's belief in what they see as degrading, because sometimes even with in some music, it could actually uplifting, you know, the parties, and it depends on how you view it and your angle of where you see the grading, you know.
Yeah.
So
how does music actually influence people's minds? It does.
Definitely.
And you want to create a brand that would uplift people rather than bring them down.
Definitely. Caribbean Wave is actually that type of music that will soothe you, would relax the spirit, relax the soul. You know, you can listen to it, you could feel just chill, you could go to the beach, you could, you know, it's just identifying a lot of elements show the Caribbean especially too.
Because a lot of young people, they listen to music and tend to want to be like the lyrics in the songs. So have you seen that happening? Yeah,
definitely, especially with the younger generation, especially, you know, but we need to identify and remember that the expression of the music and the musicians and the artists sometimes is just their lifestyle, right? They might be just, you know,
I get what you're saying, that it is their expression, but it is for a population, it is for a target audience, and if the lyrics may be negative in some way, it can draw a crowd, and we've seen that over the years, that music itself tends to influence young people, because sometimes, like, I'm not going to say they don't have a mind of their own, but they just tend to follow these things because they want to be in with what is happening in the trend. So would your music, or would you look to be that person, instead of just expressing as you want, but not just to do that, but to do so in a responsible way? And I think responsibility is
like all my music has always been a responsible type of music. You know, we always, from the reggae especially, a lot of people know me to do reggae music, is always trying to uplift the youths, allow them to actually know that, you know, that there's more to life. There's always, you know, that excitement, that joy. And even with soca music as well too, a lot of it is just bringing out that expression of happiness and joy.
All right. You seem to be a serious person when it comes to your music.
Yeah, definitely.
How long
I've been doing this 11 years now. I started my own company, MillBeatz Entertainment. That was in the year 2010. So it's practically about 8 years now doing my own business, music. You know, I'm having my own establishment. So I definitely take it full 100 when
serious, and you want to make sure that you contribute something to society as well. Now, I just want to get back to the release of the album, The Revolution. Tell me about it.
Well, The Revolution is 13 tracks on the album, all Caribbean Wave again. These tracks have artists featured from not just Trinidad and Tobago, but from all over the Caribbean. You know, we have artists from St. Vincent, we have artists from Jamaica, Barbados, and even a lot of young artists here from Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to give them the opportunity to just be heard, because that's something that was really important for my brand. So always, for the MillBeatz brand, is always to keep the youths alive and just develop that new song, find a new song, you know. So I gave like 3 Generation Z artists, you know.
But who can we expect to hear?
All right, so definitely this week we releasing the second single from the album, and that's featuring Pretty. So that will be a track entitled Green Light. Other than that, on Saturday we'll be revealing the rest. So on Saturday we'll be in Vast Nightclub. The gates will be open from 10 p.m. and everyone there can actually, you know, come out and support us and hear the full cast of the 13 artists.
Oh, so all the artists are going to be there?
No, well, some of them will actually be sending in their videos, because remember, not all from Trinidad.
But it sounds exciting, and you're working with local talent as well. Revolution is the album that is coming up shortly. Just give me the information one more time, what is taking place this weekend? Oh,
we are at Vast Nightclub, right? Gates open from 10 p.m. We'd like to encourage everybody to come down. It will be free entry. So at Vast Nightclub, we'll be actually launching the Revolution album, having a listening session, let everybody get familiar with the new Caribbean Wave sound, you know, and lots more excitement to happen.
I want to wish you all the best moving forward with your work. Mr. David Millian, founder, CEO, producer, MillBeatz Entertainment and Caribbean Waves. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Definitely.